Happy Thursday, 28th day of May, 2026 has safely arrived. How this day will progress, we'll find out together because this is going to be one cattywampus kind of a weather day today. First of all, if you haven't been outside yet, it's 66 degrees. Relative humidity is 70%, which is not supposed to happen this time of the year. We are in for a real weather whiplash kind of a day, calm, benign this morning. And we are right in the bullseye for some thunderstorms, some pop-up thunderstorms. Could even see some severe thunderstorms around here. We haven't had one of those in a long time, and it's pretty rare this time of the year to get thunderstorms. So get ready for a very dramatic weather day. That all-important weather forecast is going to start things off as it always does. Haven't done one like this in a while. Could even set a record high. Going to be close anyway. We'll have some news. Sports, the Mariners, for the first time all season, are in first place. They're below 500, but everybody in the American League West is below 500, but they swept the Athletics in West Sacramento. They're in first place. Hopefully they'll stay there for a while. Highlights of a nice Mariner victory over the Athletics. And ever since this was announced a few months back, I believe it was like back in February, the racing community, the sporting community, the community at large went, this is so cool. Kevin Harvick, the NASCAR legend who won it all, who won the series championship in 2014. He's won all kinds of races all over the place, is coming to the Wenatchee Valley. He's actually flying in today from his home in Carolina, and he'll be racing the Plum Perfect Wenatchee 200 on Saturday night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Bowl. Jeremy Andrews and I were in this studio yesterday. Kevin joined us via Zoom. We're going to have that conversation in the back half of the program. He's a nice guy, too. For a guy who's accomplished so much, he's pretty humble and pretty cool. Don't miss that conversation. And also, it's Thursday, Pause for Pets. And I've been doing this show for almost 10 years now. I don't think we've ever had a mouse for Pause for Pets, but Opal the mouse needs a home. There you go. Let's take our tour around here before we get going. A few clouds to the north of us. We'll see that in just a second when we head up to the McNeil Canyon camera, but there is the Wenatchee Valley. Again, it is 66 degrees already here in the big city. We are leading the temperature parade right now. From the roof of the Cascadian, looking south towards the Widener apartment homes. That is as tall as it's going to get, by the way. 6 stories tall, and then that's a clubhouse. That actually makes up kind of the 7th story. That'll be a clubhouse area for the tenants of the Widener apartment homes. That thing is going up. I think the March of next year is their slate to begin opening that up. That'll be kind of cool. Makes a vibrant downtown even that much more vibrant. There's the McNeil Canyon camera I was telling you about. It looks like there's a big puffy up there above Lake Chelan. Nobody is going to be immune from the chance of some thunderstorms. Everybody could get wind, hail, heavy downpours. There's Leavenworth. Thunderstorms are highly unpredictable. They can pop up, pour rain down, hail down, and then take off. You get strong winds and torrential rain, and then just like that, it is gone. They have changed the forecast numerous times just in the last 3 hours. So first things first, it's going to be warm. It's going to be very warm today. Now, yesterday we had 84. Today we'll be in the lower 90s. Our record high on this date for the Wenatchee Valley is 94 degrees. That was set back in 1983. I don't think we're going to get that warm. Moses Lake's record high on this day, 95. That was set 21 years ago. They may not get there. We're going to be close to a record high, but we're probably not going to get there. And again, this is unseasonably warm for this time of the year, obviously, with a chance of record highs over most of our viewing area. But here is what we're really talking about. That's why the relative humidity is so high. It is muggy. Everything is coming up from the south. So there's your timeline. You can see right here where the Wenatchee Valley is. So in that yellow area there, we could get hail, we could get strong, we could get winds at 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, heavy downpours, frequent lightning, or we might not get any of it. That's the nature of a pop-up thunderstorm, especially this time of the year. We got to remember, it's still spring and will stay spring for another 3 weeks or so. So basically, it's coming from the south. Look to the south, look towards Mission Ridge, and that direction towards Ellensburg and the Clockham, and just keep an eye on as the clouds begin to roll in, lower down, winds pick up, and there is your timeline. So the farther north you are, the later it's going to be for some severe weather, and it is again scattered severe thunderstorms. Some folks could get them, some folks quite possibly not. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. As the day progresses, the clouds will roll in, and then when we get to mid to late afternoon, we start talking about thunderstorms. We're certainly going to get rain. There's no doubt about that. We have an 80% chance of rain. As far as thunderstorms, it's hit and miss. It depends entirely where you're at, and these things could really come out of nowhere. And some of these storms in our viewing area could get pretty wild tonight. 62 for the overnight low. And then look at that. The temperature drops lower than a gopher's basement. We'll be 20 degrees cooler on Friday with a lot of wind. And by the way, Friday morning, the very end of these systems that are coming in from the south will still give us a little bit of rain on Friday. But look at the difference in the temperature. 91 today, 72 if we're lucky on Friday. It's going to be very windy Friday, very windy on Friday night. Windy most of the day Saturday, and then just breezy on Saturday night. And we're only going to get to 70. That's it. The big story Saturday is going to be the wind all day, and Friday too for that matter. And then we finally calm down on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday as we say goodbye to May and welcome June. That's the weather. When we come back, the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether,
we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
When life gets stressful, jumping into your passions can help you find your calm. Avoid vapes, which contain nicotine and can make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. When it comes to your mental health, choose what matters. Choose you.
Vape companies market vaping as a de-stressor, but nicotine can make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. 90% of those who quit felt less stressed, anxious, or depressed. When it comes to your mental health, choose what matters. Choose you.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
66 degrees, a tad on the muggy side, and as you know by now, sunshine for most of the day into the early afternoon hours, and here come the thunderstorms again. Look to the south. Everything is coming from the south. The farther south you live, the sooner the thunderstorms will arrive. Whether thunderstorms could be severe, mild, or not at all is a crapshoot. Mother Nature calls the shots, but we're in for some pretty active weather today, so be prepared. It's 9 minutes after the hour. 3 massage parlors, 2 in Wenatchee and 1 in East Wenatchee, were served with search warrants yesterday. It's part of an investigation into alleged prostitution and human trafficking. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says detectives discovered evidence that indicates acts of prostitution were carried out at Foyer Massage and Lomi Lomi Massage, that's in Wenatchee, and Zen Massage in East Wenatchee. All 3 locations raided by police and Homeland Security, and the cases are also being referred to code enforcement for additional action. Chief Ryan Moody with the Sheriff's Office says the businesses are closed. Nobody was arrested in connection with the case. NCW Life spoke with Teresa Moran, who said she and a friend have been reporting Foyer Massage to local police for a couple of years now.
I've just been here for 5 years in Wenatchee, and I've been observing what's happening, and I just got a really bad vibe. Late at night, like around 10 o'clock, because the weed store closes around 10. So like sometimes I come late at night and I see these vans pulling up. And, you know, and people would be getting out of the back of them, you know. But they got the massage parlor, so they could have been new masseuses. But every time I chronicled everything and did my due diligence.
It's now been 5 days since a malware attack on Chelan County government offices have crippled most county operations. All county agencies shut down their phones, their websites, their entire data network to prevent any further damage. As of this morning, officials still do not have an update on when the networks and online services will be restored. Most departments are operating as normally as they can. But if you're in Chelan County, you want a marriage license. Marriage licenses are state issued, so you can just go to another county and get your marriage license. You can go to Douglas County or Grant County. More updates will be available on the Chelan County Emergency Management's Facebook page. Chelan County Commissioner Sean Smith spoke with us yesterday about the outage.
So what we're currently doing is still running most operations here at the county. We're just doing it the old-fashioned way. It feels like 1985 again. But all departments are open except for the counter at the Sheriff's Department, so you can't do any fingerprinting or concealed weapon permits right now. But other than that, every other department is open and running paper and pencil. You can head around the campus here, and if you need to turn in a building permit or get your car licensed, you can do that. The other offices for the contract licensing departments around the county are open as well. District Court is running just jail cases right now, not doing any civil cases at this current time. Superior Court is up and running as well. So if you come to the county and you want to get some business done, be sure and bring cash or check, and we can still process and get your applications going. And like I say, do it the old-fashioned way. We'll update everyone as things unfold, and we know when systems are going to be coming back up and running, but currently we're running off the county cell phones and conducting business the old-fashioned way. It's a good time for a little spring cleaning around the county as well, so a lot of desks are getting cleaned off. I need to do mine here eventually, but we'll get to it. Just want to keep everyone updated, and if you have any questions, you know, please feel free to stop by the county and ask, and we will take care of your business.
Wenatchee police arrested a man Tuesday afternoon after a reported stabbing outside a convenience store in town left one person with a minor injury. Police responded shortly after 1 o'clock Tuesday to the 800 block of South Mission after reports of a man armed with a knife who may have injured someone. Captain Brian Chance says officers arrived and safely took the suspect into custody. He says one person suffered a minor injury to his arm and was treated and released from Confluence Health Hospital. The suspect booked on multiple charges, including felony and misdemeanor offenses. Chance says he's withholding the name of the suspect, citing possible mental health concerns. The incident caused a traffic diversion at South Mission and Ferry Street for about an hour. The 911 dispatch system that serves our area needs more telecommunicators. It's a chronic problem. That's, of course, the people who take calls and relay them to the appropriate agency. Rivercom is holding a free employment testing this Saturday. They want to bring new recruits into their ranks, taking these tests. That's the first step if you're interested in getting a job at the Rivercom. Executive Director Doug Jones says there's always a need for more operators in the 911 profession, which is fast-paced but comes with its own rewards.
So Rivercom is actively hiring. We currently have a staffing, I would say, shortage that we are trying to account for. So yeah, Saturday is our test. We're doing 4 tests per year and 4 academies per year. Academy consists of about a month. Once you get hired, you go into an academy program where you're with a trainer, and then after that month, then you go out into on the floor and sit with an experienced dispatcher. But anyway, it's a good job. We really encourage local folks to apply to be a Rivercom telecommunicator. If you want to test on Saturday coming up, you go to our website at rivercom911.org, and on our opening page there, our homepage, you'll see a link to sign up for the test. It's through Public Safety Testing. It's an outside company, but you link on that, go to that link through our website, and then you can get signed up for our Saturday test. And it's proctored by us, but it's put on through Public Safety Testing. But we'll meet you there. We'll get you signed in. And yeah, it'll be the start of a great career if you make it through the testing in our hiring process. You know, right now we're on this push where we're having 4 academies per year. We're trying to recruit to have 4 people per academy. So you know, by end of 27 we can be fully staffed. That's really our goal. Dispatching, especially if you're in the state, you have to be certified by the state now. So it's hard to recruit from outside the state without bringing someone in and getting them recertified under our state standards. But nonetheless, there are a lot of dispatch centers throughout the state, and we do have an incentive to bring for laterals. If you go to our website again, on our opening page, there's a recruiting link. You go in there, and it tells you all the prerequisites to be a telecommunicator, as far as your background, things like that, kind of what to expect of the job. Some things that if you're strong in multitasking, if you're strong in you know, critical thinking, all those types of skills, then those will really help you in a job with Rivercom. So we're looking for those types of people. It's a great job if you're young, even just coming out of high school. And there's a lot of graduations. Unlike law enforcement, where you have to be 21, at Rivercom we can hire you as a telecommunicator right at 18. So that's a great opportunity coming right out of high school. You know, within the first year, you could be making a $60,000 a year salary, which is pretty good for a young person coming right out of high school. So, like I said, I encourage people to sign up. That's a great opportunity. And you know, in addition to being a great job, you serve your community. We are considered, telecommunicators are first responders. We consider ourselves the first responders. It's a very important job. We save lives every day.
The Moses Lake man found dead Sunday at the top of Sumner Falls is believed to have died by accidental drowning. That's the assessment from Grant County Coroner Craig Morrison. 39-year-old Anthony Mann, last seen May 15th at his home in Moses Lake, was the subject of a search by land and air. Over the next week, they found his unoccupied van on May 18th near Trail Lake, next to a main irrigation canal that's actually upstream from Sumner Falls. That's about 10 miles southeast of Coulee City. Sheriff's deputies say there appears to be no foul play involved in Mann's death. And finally, a former employee of Grant Transit Authority says the Public Transportation Service unjustly fired her over private comments she made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The conservative commentator was shot and killed last September in Utah. Grant Transit dispatch operator Marilee Castillo was suing the agency in federal court. She says she was fired 2 weeks after Kirk's murder for making Facebook comments about Kirk's legacy. That firing, according to her, amounts to violating her First Amendment rights. Castillo filed the case in district court in Spokane last week. Grant Transit has yet to respond to that lawsuit. That's what's happening on, I have a feeling, going to be a pretty crazy Thursday. Hopefully it isn't, but you never know around the news business. Every day is different. Watch the news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on television, on YouTube right around 5 o'clock. And if you see news happening or you know about some news, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Sports in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up in Anchi Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Sports, Rob Refsnyder hit a 3-run home run. Julio Rodriguez hit a 3-run home run. Logan Gilbert pitched lights out. Guess who's in first place for the first time all season? The Mariners. They're in first place after a very convincing 9-1 victory over the Athletics. They complete the 3-game sweep, and yep, they're now back in first place.
3-2. Hammered down to left field. This ball is gone. Rob Refsnyder with the bolt to left. And it's 3-0 Mariners right away. On base 3 times yesterday, and now a first inning 3-run homer.
Yeah, and that's just got to feel good if you're Rob Refsnyder. You know, he's been brought in to do exactly this, hit left-handed pitching, struggled to do it so far this season, hitting just around 100.
To right field, Robles closing on this, lays out, and Victor Robles makes the catch. We've seen that before. He takes a hit away from Langoliers.
This is just excellent. It's great that he's right-handed, the ball tailing away from him towards the line, but he's got the glove on that side.
1-2 coming from Gilbert. This is poked into shallow right. Robles is able to make another highlight reel catch in right field. Man, is he on fire to begin today.
Worry about getting the grass stains out later. Great jump. You know, Jonah Heim telegraphs this swing. It was kind of tail out, hands out, so he knew it wasn't hit very hard, so he was able to get a good read, and it wasn't right in front of him. It wasn't that line drive that's so hard to read in front of him. It's kind of in the gap.
RBI chance here for Emerson. Cracks this down the line, right field, base hit. Young is on his way home. This finds the corner in right field. Paredes, he's steaming to the plate, and he scores standing. Colt Emerson stands up at third. It's a 2-run triple for Colt Emerson. First big league triple for the 20-year-old.
This is on a sweeper, and a really nice piece of hitting. Keeps that front side in.
Off the hands, Kurtz slings to second, over to first, and this gets away. Meanwhile, here comes Young, and no throw home. It's a 6-0 Mariners lead. Hazer throwing it around. Well, this is torched. Deep left center field and gone. Julio Rodriguez with a bomb. 3-run tank in the 8th. His 8th home run this month.
Julio checking in with the long ball against the A's. He has never had a season without at least 2 home runs versus the Athletics.
Chopping to J.P. Crawford. The short way to second, and the Mariners win. They sweep the A's in 3 games. The Mariners
are off today. They have a 3-game weekend series at T-Mobile Park. They're back in the Emerald City with the Diamondbacks coming to town starting tomorrow night. The rest of the American League West looks something like this. The Mariners, again, are in first place for the first time all season by a half game over the Athletics. The Astros dip the Rangers. The Tigers beat the Angels. This is the final weekend of high school sports. Where did the year go? It seems like a month ago we were doing high school football back in September, but this is it. The Washington State 4A track and field championships, plus the 3A and the 2A at Mount Tahoma High School in Tacoma. Wenatchee is sending 17 athletes participating in 9 events. Eastmont, who won the district championship last weekend, they got 14 athletes coming for the boys in 12 events. Moses Lake 10 athletes in 6 events. And for the girls, for the big schools, Wenatchee, which won the district championship last week, they have 14 athletes participating in 16 separate events. Eastmont has 15 athletes in 8 events. Moses Lake 13 athletes in 6 events. I was going to do all the small schools too. Their track and field state championships begin today in Yakima. I just plumb run out of time, but I'll do my best to let you know how everybody did come tomorrow. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. The Obscura holiday is going to be celebrated everywhere today. If you're on social media, it'll be out there. It's National Hamburger Day today. Who doesn't love a good hamburger? McDonald's sells a lot of them. McDonald's sells 75 hamburgers every second. That's 270,000 hamburgers every hour. We eat 50 billion hamburgers a year, and that's just Americans. Half of all sandwiches sold in hamburgers are technically sandwiches. Half of all sandwiches sold in this country are hamburgers. And we want to thank Walter Anderson, a fry cook in Wichita, Kansas, who in 1916 came up with the bun that we know of. Before that, the hamburger would go on 2 pieces of bread. You can only take about 3 bites, and the whole thing would just congeal into a bunch of glop. He said we need denser bread, it needs to be round, and we should be able to toast it on one side so the whole thing stays together. So thank you, Walt Anderson, for taking care of that little problem. I will indulge later on today. A lot of restaurants are going to be having sales today on that. Today in history in rural Ontario, Canada, 92 years ago today, the Dion quintuplets are born. To Olivia and Elzara Dion, they were the first quintuplets to survive infancy. They have all since passed away. The last one was Annette, who died last Christmas Eve at the age of 91. They had 5 older kids, the Dion's did, but for some reason, because they smelled money and a lot of it, the Ontario government declared that the Dion quintuplets' parents were unfit parents, so they took the Dion quintuplets from them and proceeded to cash in on the fame of the Dion quintuplets, which was everywhere in the 1930s, pretty much destroyed the lives of the 5 girls. It's a fascinating story. Number of books out there. There's a book that came out about 8 or 9 years ago. I highly recommend it. It's not a particularly pleasant read, but these are 5 ladies whose life was basically taken from them almost from birth. It's a sad story indeed. Happy birthday, Volkswagen, whose Volkswagen Bug and Volkswagen Beetle changed the automobile industry in the 1950s. They were building big fat cars, and people who didn't want big fat cars just wanted something fun to drive and get from point A to point B. And Volkswagen came on board. Volkswagen started in 1937, ended during the war, was brought back after World War II, and had a lot to do with West Germany's economic revival after hostilities ended in the summer of 1945. Happy birthday to Volkswagen. In Southgate, Kentucky, on this date of 1977, Southgate, Kentucky, directly across the Ohio River from Cincinnati, a big nightclub, the Beverly Hills Separate Club, catches on fire. It kills 165 people over the Memorial Day weekend. The fire code between the exits and everything said you can have 1,500 people maximum in this building. There were well over 3,000 in the building. There were no fire sprinkler systems because it wasn't required, no audible fire alarms, not enough exits. And the local fire authorities knew about it, but they had no authority to enforce it. A tragedy indeed, 49 years ago today, just stunning. And the saga of Matthias Rust, a 19-year-old kid from West Germany who flew his airplane from West Germany to Helsinki, fueled up, and then flew to the Soviet Union. The footage is remarkable. A British doctor happened to be in Red Square when this happened. Matthias Rust flew underneath all the Soviet radar. He was just 18 years old, landed in Red Square. This happened in this state, by the way, in 1987. An incredibly, I mean, talk about the chutzpah of this guy. He was arrested, by the way, immediately detained. He was sentenced to 5 years in hard labor. He was eventually pardoned after about 14 months of hard labor. For most of the Soviet Air Defense High Command, they got fired, and for good reason. And ironically enough, one of the reasons they got away with it, it was a national holiday celebrating the National Border Guard of the Soviet Union. Most of the Soviet soldiers who were in charge of guarding the Soviet border were on vacation or not there. I remember that. He got pardoned by Mikhail Gorbachev, who then fired a bunch of people. Birthdays. Voted the greatest male athlete in the first half of the 20th century, Jim Thorpe. Won both the pentathlon and the decathlon at the 1912 Olympics in Stockholm. Then they took his medals away. Then they gave them back to him. About 30 years after he died, Jim Thorpe, born in the state in 1888. The man known as Mr. Logo. They took his silhouette and made him the NBA logo, Mr. Clutch. The legendary Jerry West, born in West Virginia in the state in 1938. We lost Jerry a couple of years ago, but he was a great basketball player. And a happy 81st birthday to John Fogerty, the founder of Creedence Clearwater Revival, who now owns his music again. After a 50-year lawsuit, John Fogerty is 81. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They're our platinum sponsor. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Mike Benatti has got an opinion, a fantastic conversation with the NASCAR legend, Kevin Harvick, who's coming to town to race. This is the biggest racing event the WVSO has ever had. Jeremy and I had a chance to talk to Kevin via Zoom. But first things first, there's a mouse that needs a home. It's Paws for Pets.
So my name is Dakota. I'm the volunteer program manager here at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. And our pet of the week this week is Opal. He's a great little mouse. Pretty cool guy. He's an albino mouse. So he's got some little cute pink eyes in there. And then he's all pure white with the little pink tail. Sometimes you'll see in mice that they have like a darker tail with darker body, but because he's albino, he has just kind of that whiter look to him with the pink eyes. So he came in with a couple of other mice, and the other two have since been adopted, but he is our last one remaining. The other two that came in were female, and so he was our only male. They're pretty self-containing. They will take care of themselves. As you can see, he's kind of grooming himself right now, so they keep themselves fairly clean. Outside of that, they love to play around. They'll burrow in their cages. They love to dig and hide out wherever they can. So they love to run around. This one was an owner surrender, so he was very social and loves to be held, as you can see. And he just loves to run everywhere. They'll run circles around their cages, and they love to run around in tunnels and things like that as well. Just like dogs or cats, some of them love to be handled and some of them don't. This one, though, loves to be handled. He loves to be running all over you and cuddle with you and all the things. So if that's something you're into and love to cuddle with some mice, then he's your guy. He's gonna want someone who can, be social with him and interact with him. I would keep him away from a cat or a dog. Sometimes they can go after him too. So our Clear the Shelter went great. We are very limited in animals right now because of it, which is awesome. We had almost a full shelter, and now we're filling them back up and filling all the cages. And some of our really long stay dogs had gotten adopted, so that was really cool to see. So we're open from 12:30 to 6 p.m. Adoptions are complete by 5:30. And then he'll be over in our front office area in our small critters room, which is behind me. And so he's really fun to come and check out. And his adoption fee is, I think, $15, but I'm not quite sure.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, there's a recent social phenomenon I've noticed, using terms like woke, liberal, snowflake, terms that are not only used to criticize someone, but also to allow whoever disagrees and uses such terms to ignore the legitimacy of what someone says simply by using a pejorative term to characterize them. If I say something undeniably true, like Trump lost in 2020, and the big lie is that the election was stolen from him, all a dissenter has to do is say that I'm a liberal. to establish in their minds that anything I say is suspect and it's okay for them to continue to dwell in their fantastically ill-informed opinion. You know, it's incredible to me how this simple act of characterization relieves someone of the responsibility of honest critical thinking. I don't know. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Welcome back to the program. There has been big days at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, big evenings at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, and then there's this Friday and Saturday, which is, quite frankly, and I'm not gilding a lily here, the biggest couple of days of racing the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval has seen since it opened its doors back in 1970, because a racing icon is coming to town to try out our little short track, and everybody is talking about Mr. Kevin Harvick. Will be here in the big city for a number of days to do all kinds of things, most importantly, to race in the Wenatchee 200. I'm Dan Kuntz. He's help me out. Jason Andrews. It's Jeremy Andrews, everybody. And live back from his home, I believe in the Carolinas, is via Zoom, is Kevin Harvick. Hello, Kevin.
How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
We're great. We're doing great. First question for you. Just got back. You were in Indianapolis just a couple of days ago. What's that like? I mean, I watched the Indy 500 from beginning to end. I'm told television doesn't do it justice. What's the Indy 500 like?
Well, I actually didn't go to the race. I just went to shoot our podcasts, and we were fortunate to spend some time with the Indianapolis 500 winner and Lando Norris from Formula One as part of our broadcast this week. So that was my first week off since we got done with our broadcasting portion of the year for the season, and I knew I had to leave Monday. So honestly, I laid on the couch for 2 days and watched racing. So that worked out pretty well.
Have you ever done an open wheel Indy type car? Have you got behind one of those babies and gone 240 miles an hour?
I haven't. No, everything I did was I started in go-karts, and I actually grew up in Bakersfield, California. So when you grow up in Bakersfield, California, you rooted for the Mears gang, and so growing up, that's what I wanted to do was race in the Indy 500, and never got to do that. I got to do that in a stock car and went at the Brickyard a few times through the years, and was fortunate. That's about as close as you can get to living out your childhood dream. If you don't race Indy cars, at least winning at the marquee track that they go to. But I was fortunate to go to Indianapolis in a time when it looked just like the Indy 500 as far as the amount of people and things that were at the track. And there's not much else like it. It's a special place. They had a fantastic race this weekend with the Indy 500, and the finish was unbelievable. And I was just like everybody else, though, laying on my couch watching it. Didn't actually go for the race. I've actually never been to the Indy 500. I told Eric Shanks from Fox yesterday. It feels like I'm cheating on my wife when you got the Coke 600 at home and you've got the Indy 500, and I didn't feel right going and being present at the race this year. So I stayed home and watched.
But you did win 3 Brickyard 500s in your career, and that in and of itself is pretty impressive. Jeremy, talk about how this marriage came together. How did you convince Mr. Harvick to come to little old Wenatchee, Washington, USA?
Well, I think we started about a couple of years ago. Kevin really is a fan of West Coast racing and really cares about West Coast racing, and we started in bringing the Cars Tour West Northwest Series together a couple of years ago, and the schedule finally fine-tuned for this year, and one of the tracks that Kevin talked about coming to race was Wenatchee, and the Wenatchee 200 is a signature race. It's the richest one-day race on the West Coast, which is pretty amazing, and having Kevin out here is going to be amazing. We've had a lot of big drivers the last couple of years for the Wenatchee 200, and Kevin's really stepping that game up this year, and we're excited about it. But Kevin, maybe let's talk about your history with West Coast short track racing.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I grew up in Bakersfield, California, so I've actually never been to the Wenatchee Raceway, and so I was jealous when Keelan got to go up there, last month or month before, whenever that was. It all kind of runs together at this point. But the background and sitting in the mountains and all the things that they were able to explore and see on their way to the racetrack and around. On the evenings is something that I'm looking forward to. I've been to Evergreen and the old Portland Oval that is no longer there, but those are really the only 2 places that I had been in the Northwest. So for us, late model short track racing on the West Coast is really what springboarded my career in the direction that it did. At that time in the mid-90s, the late 90s, there was still regional touring series and very structured and organized. And it really has become disjointed over the last 20 years. So myself and Dale Jr., Justin Marks, Jeff Burton, we bought one of the East Coast series and started the Cars Tour. That was, we purchased the Cars Tour, was already the name of the series. And so we got involved in the Kern County Raceway in Bakersfield, and now it's Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway, being my hometown. And with as well as everything was going on the East Coast, the racers and everybody involved in short track racing back here were just giving them a stable, organized, structured weekly place to race was something that seemed to be working. And the West Coast was in a very unique spot because the Northwest had one set of rules, the Southwest had another set of rules, different divisions, different classes. And I'm like, you know what? Let's jump in and see if we can help coordinate to get all these groups back together nationally. And the Jeremy and the group of racetracks up in the Northwest is very unique because they actually work together, which is not the case in most part of the country. And so we started having conversations a couple of years ago to try to get things reorganized. And I think we were all a little bit nervous as to how that was going to go, because we have pro late models which have a little bit less horsepower than the cars we'll race this weekend with the super late models, but they were all so close, and everybody was kind of in survival mode to not really knowing what to do to take those big steps to get the whole country back aligned like it used to be 20 years ago. But the thing that I've learned is there's a whole bunch of racers in the Northwest that are very passionate about what they do, and a lot of local guys that follow the different tours that have happened and race at the local racetracks. And it's actually been, once we got over the initial shock of are we actually going to do this, and is everybody on board, and we got everybody on board to do this, it's really been a home run as far as the races that we've done. And as this goes forward, there's a real possibility now to where we can take the different regions, Northwest, Southwest, East Coast, Midwest, all those different regions, and now that the rules are the same, you can really bring these different groups of racers together to race against each other, which is what you want. You want to be able to have that measuring stick. And so being able to come to Wenatchee this weekend and race for the first time, have a great field of cars, which we were all a little bit nervous about as far as trying to keep the classes separate and not just have a run what you brung type of race. But I truly believe that the racers enjoy when we separate those two divisions and have the structure and organization, and we can put these big events on. And I think this weekend is just another example of being able to put one of those big events on with the amount of cars and people that we have at the racetrack. So I want to be involved. Obviously, it won't be all the time, but getting this established was a real priority, you know, for myself and everybody else, to make sure that we got off on the right foot and being able to make these marquee events and make them part of the community again, and make the community awareness higher than what it has been in the past. And so as we go to these different markets, to get that community awareness of hey, we're having a big event, but come back next week because racing's really cool and you can have fun at the racetrack and bring your kids out here and have a good time. And that's what racing is. It's a family sport. I've grown up around it my whole life, love the people, love the atmosphere, and looking forward to going back short track racing again this year.
Kevin, let me ask you this. You've been spending a little more time in front of the camera, broadcasting for Fox. You have a couple of shows. You, as you mentioned before, you've done some team ownership, and now you have a circuit that you're a member of. How do you keep your skills sharp? How often do you get a chance to actually get behind the wheel of a car and make sure you still got what it takes?
Not often. I raced in January in Tucson, Arizona, and then we raced in March in Bakersfield. You know, the TV stuff kind of takes priority during the 14 weeks that we cover the NASCAR tour on Sundays. So this will be the first time I've been back in the car since March when I ran the super late model last. But so far it comes back pretty quick, and I've got a 13-year-old that reminds me that I'm not very good at it anymore. So that is high motivation to go out and kick his butt, just to show him that you know, that is still possible. So it's fun, and that's really one of the things that, since Keelan has been racing go-karts and cars and all the things that he has done, and we got involved in the Cars Tour and the ownership side of trying to make all these things work, you remember why you like racing, and that's because you love just going out and being a part of the show and the event. And it's the first time in 30 years that I've been able, over the last couple of years, to go out and race for fun. My result doesn't really matter anymore because I can go to the racetrack and have a good time. I'm not worried about making a living at it anymore. I can go and enjoy the event, the people, the atmosphere, and all the things that come with that. So you know, it's really enjoyable to be able to go out and do that, and for the love of racing. And that's, when you get into the short track world, that passion that people have for these events and these cars and just all the things that go with it is fun to share with guys that are doing it for a hobby and looking to try to make a career out of it for the young guys. So and that's what we're looking for. We want the Hayden Clybons of the world to go out and get this exposure that they deserve for being a good racer and get an opportunity. And you know, the Cars Tour East has really been the hotbed for the prospects that have gone into ARCA and the Truck Series, and we've got, you know, 6, 7, 8 guys that have gone on to the National Touring Series now, and that's what we want all over the country, because you know, when I started and kind of went with RCR, it was, you know, California wasn't really the hotbed of on everybody's radar, but it became that way because at one point we had 9 of us, you know, from California that were in the Cup Series, and obviously Greg Biffle and, you know, from the Northwest. So a lot of great racers out here, and we want to make sure they get their fair shake at getting the exposure they deserve to make a living at it.
Kevin, you're coming to Wenatchee. You're a West Coast racing legend, but Wenatchee's home to a West Coast racing legend, Garrett Evans. Maybe to talk about that, you're coming to Wenatchee, but also, I mean, he was racing against you back when you were a teenager, racing against your son, not, you know, and by the way, he just won a race 2 weeks ago in a modified, but talk about your history with Garrett Evans.
Yeah, so Garrett was racing before I could race. So, you know, that blue 64 was always iconic when it came to you know, the Southwest Tour and the Northwest Tour and those events that we had. So I grew up watching Garrett and you know, Mike Chase and Rick Corelli and Ron Hornaday and so many of those guys that battled out on the West Coast for so many years. But you know, when you had the big races and everybody came across the country and we went to Phoenix, and you know, those guys were the ones that were racing up in the front of the field, and so, you know, it's the Garrett Evans type of people that keep this sport going. And Garrett has been in the driver's seat around the racetrack, owning racetracks, whatever it is. Those are the passionate people that it takes in order to keep these short track series alive, for the people that, you know, that not only want to go to the racetrack and race, but want to see it succeed when they're gone. And you know, that's really what we're trying to do, is reestablish this into, you know, the marquee places to get your experience to move to the next step, because somebody wants you to drive their car, or you know, your local team, as happened for me, your local team says, hey, let's build some cars and race around the country. And so Garrett's been a big part of that for a long time, and you know, that I think that would be considered baby blue. Is that fair?
Yeah. Evans Blue in the Northwest.
Yeah. So you know, that baby blue 64 was you know, iconic for so many years, and such a big part of keeping, especially in the Northwest, racing alive.
People are going to come from all over the Pacific Northwest to the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Friday night practice, Saturday night the Wenatchee 200. I'll ask Kevin and Jeremy both, what's Kevin's itinerary? How do people, outside of paying a ticket on Saturday night and watching some legend race in our own little town, how do people see Kevin, get to meet Kevin, that kind of deal? What's his itinerary for the weekend?
He's a busy weekend this weekend. Comes to town Thursday, tomorrow, and he has a dinner at Highlander Golf Course, which is sold out, which it's gonna be great. He's, you know, the scenic backdrops up there.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. And then Friday night we have practice. You can come watch him practice all day long. And then Friday night we have a qualifying draw for the drivers and teams that we're doing. And then Saturday in the race day we have the VIP experience at the track, which we've sold out as well. And then after the race on Saturday night, Kevin will be in the pits along with Keelan and all the other drivers, and go down there and get autographs signed there.
Fantastic. Yeah. Kevin, do you have any questions for us before we cut you loose? I know you're a busy guy. Anything you want to know about us?
No, not really. You know, I think it's that last part is important though, because when I was a kid, you know, the after the race part was super important, and so many times that we go to the racetrack now and we have some great VIP experiences and things that we will do, but it's important for the fans to realize that they can come down in the pits and after the race, and because those are some of the best memories that I have as a child. Cars are still hot, you can still hear them cooling off, and all the things that go with the race car after the race. Drivers are still sweaty, and being able to have that interaction, you know, and we've had this conversation with the group. You know, you bring so many guys into the races, they want to get in, drive the car, and go home, and that's really not what that experience should be. It should be, you know, that fan interaction is important, and you know, to get not only keep the parents involved, but to get the kids involved and liking racing and doing the things that they are having fun with at the racetrack, so they want to come back. It's not just about our event. It's really about how do we build the culture back to you know, that type of event, so that they want to come to a weekly show and they want to see the street stocks race or build a street stock when they turn whatever age you know, they need to be to go and race a Bandolero or race a legend car or whatever it is. It's trying to build that enthusiasm back up to make those fans into racers, or just fans of the facility. And you know, when I was a kid, we never missed a Saturday night. When the racetrack was open, we were in the grandstands watching, and with so many other kids. Now a lot of that turned into playing on the hill in the dirt, but you were still there, right? Like you were there with your grandpa and your uncle or family, dad, whoever it was. It was something that was just what you did on Saturday night, and that enthusiasm is still there. It's just it's almost reintroducing people to the sport of racing, because it's kind of, you know, gotten lost in the shuffle for the weekly nights, and you know, I know we're having a big event and it's going to be great, but there's really more to it than just this one event. It's really about the culture on a weekly basis to keep everybody going throughout the year. So I look forward to the night after the race and being able to experience it all just like everybody else over the weekend.
I'm looking forward to it. The Wenatchee Valley is very hospitable. Jeremy, Garrett, and Michelle will definitely take care of you. Jeremy's couch pulls out, right? So you have a hide-a-bed for Kevin and the crew.
Well, I got 7 kids. I don't know if we can fit in one of those.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
The floor. I get the floor. I get one mattress.
That's fine.
WVSO.com. Get your tickets. Carpool, folks. Parking will be tight. They're bringing extra bleachers, extra help, extra everybody for what's going to be an historic night of racing. Friday during the day practice, Friday night time trials and practice. The draw at downtown East Wenatchee on Friday night. Racing on Saturday with Kevin Harvick. Jeremy, go get him, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, tickets at WVSO.com.
WVSO.com. Kevin, thanks for joining us, bud. Look forward to seeing you in the big city.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley, and we'll be right back.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life Channel.
Community is more than just a place. It's the people, stories, and connections we share. At the Wenatchee World, we're your neighbors, your storytellers, and your trusted voice. From uncovering the issues that matter most to celebrating the moments that bring us together. We deliver the stories that keep the community moving forward. The Wenatchee World, your community voice, here every day.
All right, first things first, time for my live read for Pool to Spa Services Upgrade Relaxation. And yes, you can apparently do that with a Bullfrog Spa featuring the exclusive Jetpack Therapy System for individualized custom. I almost had it memorized. Individual comfort in every seat. Visit Pool to Spa. Blah, blah. You know where to find them. They're on Worthing Street, right down by the Pybus Public Market. And of course, the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival returns the 19th, 20th, and 21st at the Expo Center on the campus of the Chelan County Fairgrounds. I'll be talking to Chuck Egner, one of the folks who've been putting this together for years. Always a big party, always a good time, the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival. The National Weather Service has changed this slide 3 times already this morning, but again, we're in for some pretty crazy weather. Everything is coming in from the south, So look to the south. The farther south you are, the quicker these thunderstorms are going to get here. Some thunderstorms could be very severe, strong winds, heavy downpour, even hail, and some may miss us entirely. That is the nature of thunderstorms, especially thunderstorms this time of the year, because we are going to be unbelievably warm. It's already 66 here in the Wenatchee Valley. It's 74 in Moses Lake. Record high temperatures are a distinct possibility, but again, the possibility, especially late this afternoon into the early evening hours, of heavy rain, strong winds, lightning, hail. It's all a possibility, or it may not happen at all. That's the nature of thunderstorms. We'll get up to 91, close to a record high today. 62 for the overnight low tonight. Very windy on Friday all day. Windy Friday night, windy most of the day on Saturday, and a lot cooler. Look at the temperature difference between today's high and tomorrow's high. It's a weather whiplash. kind of a day. And that's it for us. We will see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.